Let me ask you a question. How do you keep up with the news? More importantly, how do you keep up with everything going on in cyber threat intelligence without feeling completely overwhelmed by the constant flow of information? You probably use an app on your phone, like Google News, or maybe Apple News, or scroll through a social media feed like X or Threads. These are all aggregators. Their entire job is to find and collect articles, videos, and updates from all over the internet and organize them into one single, easy to read feed. They bring order to the chaos of online information so that you can focus on what matters. What if I told you that you could do the exact same thing but for cybersecurity and cyber threat intelligence? Today, we're talking about cyber threat intelligence aggregators and how you can build one for free to stay ahead of the bad guys by keeping up with the latest threats. A cyber threat intelligence aggregator, or CTI Aggregator for short, works just like the news feed on your phone, but instead of collecting articles about sports, politics, or celebrities, it gathers intelligence specific to the cyber threats you're facing and puts it all in one place for you. It's your one-stop shop for situational awareness in the digital world. On the tactical level, this could be indicators of compromise, like malicious IP addresses, domain names, or file hashes that you can use to hunt for threats on your network today. On an operational level, it could be reports on the latest TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures that a specific hacking group is using. On a strategic level, it helps you see the big picture. You can track trends in the ransomware scene, see what industries are being targeted the most, or understand the geopolitical motivations behind certain cyber attacks. Basically, it collects any critical information that helps you protect yourself and your company from what's happening out there right now. So, why do you actually need one of these? Can't you just browse a few security websites every day and have a million tabs open? Well, in the world of cybersecurity, there's a super important idea called the single pane of glass principle. The goal is to have one central platform for all your alerts, data, and security incidents. This isn't just about convenience, it's about cognitive performance. Every time you switch context, from a browser tab to a PDF to an email, your brain loses a bit of focus. Imagine the opposite of a single pane of glass. A security analyst has 15 different browser tabs open. They're reading a blog post from a security vendor here, a government PDF alert from CISA there, and trying to cross-reference it all with chatter on social media in another tab. It's stressful, it's inefficient, and it's incredibly easy to miss a critical connection between two seemingly unrelated pieces of information. That's how burnout happens, and it's how attackers slip through the cracks. Now imagine an analyst who logs in and sees all of that information neatly organized and collated in one place. They can spot patterns. They can see that the malware mentioned in this vendor report uses the same infrastructure discussed in that government alert. That's the single pane of glass in action. Okay, so you get it, and you want one. You want to build your own threat intelligence command center. How do you get your hands on a CTI aggregator? Well, you have two options. First, you can buy a subscription to a commercial threat intelligence platform, or TIP. These are amazing, powerful tools used by big companies. They can automatically tell you if an indicator is relevant to your industry and assign it a risk score. But this level of service comes with a very hefty price tag, often tens of thousands of dollars a year, or maybe even three figures. On the other hand, you can build your own CTI aggregator for free. You can create a surprisingly powerful platform using popular newsreader apps like Feedly or Inoreader. This approach democratizes threat intelligence making it accessible to students, enthusiasts, and small businesses, not just giant corporations with massive budgets. Since most of us don't own thousands of dollars lying around, we're going to focus on the free option today, and I've chosen Inoreader as a platform of choice for building this CTI aggregator. So let's jump into a demo and see how you can put one together right now. First, we're going to hop on over to inoreader.com and create a free account. Great, we've landed on the dashboard. Let's start by creating a folder to hold all the sources of threat intelligence we want in our feed. So we'll hop over to the Feeds tab and we'll click on the new folder icon. We'll call our folder Daily CTI Checks. And we need to add a feed to begin with. Here I'm going to add the popular news website Bleeping Computer. It's great for keeping up with what's happening in the world of cyber. As you can see, there's some premium options here, but we don't need those. We can stick to the free stuff for now. Perfect. So I have my daily CTI checks folder and my first source, Bleeping Computer. As you can see, it's populated the screen with all the news articles from Bleeping Computer. So we can log into this platform. We can pull up this screen and we can work our way through every news article that Bleeping Computer has. You'll see later in this demo we can add even more sources to get even more news articles or CTI blogs onto the platform. Right now we just have Bleeping Computer, so let me show you what this looks like. So scrolling through the dashboard, we see that there's an article labeled CISA says hackers breached a federal agency using a GeoServer exploit. Perhaps we use GeoServer in our organization, so we want to know more about this threat. You can click on it and get a brief summary. There's also options at the top where we could add it to our read later list. We could assign it a tag. This is great if you're working in a team environment and you want a certain person to take a look at this one. We can also mark it as read once we're finished. A premium option is summarizing it using artificial intelligence. We can load the full contents of the article so we can read it right in the platform. We can listen to an audiobook, or we could share it across social media and an email. I'll close out of this and we'll open the full article in a different tab. Great, here we're taken to the full article and we can give it a read through to find out if it's relevant to us. Perhaps it is, and we could do a search of our environment to see if we're impacted by this CVE and patch it immediately. And the process goes on and on. You get the news articles, you scroll through the dashboard, and you see what's relevant to you, all in a single pane of glass that can correlate multiple cyber threat intelligence sources and news websites. But you're thinking, Adam, you should show me one source here. How do I add more sources so that I can make my research more comprehensive? Well, we click on the Add Feed button and we can paste the website, search for it, or just paste the RSS URL of the feed we want to integrate with Inoreader. A great source I like is Unit 42, so let's search for them and see if we can add that. Perfect, here they are. And it looks like this feed is working correctly. We can see articles being released within the last week or so. And so we'll click on follow. Now that adds it to our feeds section, but we want it in our CTI daily checks. So I can just drag it across, put it under Bleeping Computer, and there it is. Now if I hit refresh, you can scroll down and we should be able to see some articles from Unit 42. Perfect. There's one right there. Now once you've been through and triaged all the news and cyber happenings, you can click this button to mark all as read, and that will clear the queue for you for the next day. Now when you log back in tomorrow and triage cyber threats happening to you, it will be repopulated with all the news articles you haven't read, all the new stuff that's been pulled down from those RSS feeds. Perfect. So, as you saw, to get started, you just need to tell your aggregator which sources to follow. There is a huge global community of security researchers and companies that provide incredible threat intelligence for free through something called RSS feeds. I alluded to these in the demo. An RSS feed is just a simple standardized web link that lets tools like Inoreader know when a new article has been published. I recommend a mix of top tier security company blogs like those from CrowdStrike, Mandiant, or Palo Alto's Unit 42, as you saw. You'll want government sources, like alerts from CISA in the US, or the NCSC in the UK. And don't forget the personal blogs of individual researchers you might follow online. That's often where the most cutting-edge research appears first. To help you out, I've put a starter list of some of my favourite CTI sources in the description of this video. You just need to add them to the tool, and it will automatically pull in new articles as they're published, creating your own personal, up-to-the-minute threat feed. As a quick pro tip, don't just dump them all in one bucket. Use the folders feature in your aggregator to categorize your sources. You could have a folder for ransomware news, vulnerability disclosures, cloud security, and threat actor tracking. This will turn your feed from a fire hose of data into an organized library. In the demo, you saw me make the CTI Daily Checks folder. This is something I do when running a CTI team. I have an analyst run through popular news sites and cyber threat intelligence blogs to see what's happening in the world. This keeps us up to date with the open source intelligence that is out there and how it might impact our company. So let's wrap this up. CTI aggregators are a fantastic way to make your threat intelligence gathering faster, smarter, and more efficient. They bring everything into that single pane of glass, saving you from the manual, repetitive, and frankly boring task of checking dozens of websites every single day just to keep up with the open source intelligence flow. This frees up you to spend your time on the most important part, actually analyzing the information and figuring out how you can act on it to safeguard your business. It moves you from being a data collector to a data analyst. I've shown how you can build your own free CTI aggregator using a tool like Inoreader, but there's plenty of other tools out there to get you started. So, for your homework, if you choose to accept it, pick one of the tools that I've mentioned, either Inoreader or Feedly. Choose between 5 and 10 sources from the list below and create your own CTI aggregator. You'll be amazed at how quickly it becomes an indispensable part of your day. Before you go though, leave some of your favourite CTI sources in the comments to help everyone out so they can add new sources to their aggregators. Let's build a community resource in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button for more videos. I'll see you next time.